Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wrestle Plug podcast YouTube channel. If you listen to this in audio, you can also check it out in video format. At some point during this Sunday, we're endeavoring to try and get this released as soon as possible. Unfortunately, yours truly started watching SummerSlam and then passed out because he was very, very tired from watching Lincoln lose, and that's why my voice is fucked. I'm Aeron X. Joining me to discuss WWE Summerslam and run down everything we saw from the big event is Kyle Wilkinson. Welcome back to the podcast, sir.
Thank you, my friend. It's been a while. Just so everyone knows, I've had an ear infection. That's why I've kind of been MIA, because it hurts to listen to things. But I had to talk about SummerSlam with my brother because it was a thing that happened.
Yes, Big E defeated Baron Corbin by pinfall on the pre-show to get back his Money in the Bank briefcase, which was stolen from him on Smackdown a couple of weeks ago.
Didn't even watch it. Don't care.
I had it on in the background. I just did not care. So I was like this. I was like... Out of it. So opening the show proper for the Raw Tag Team Championships, RK Bro are your new Raw Tag Team Champions, defeating AJ Styles and Omos. And once again, it's AJ Styles that takes the pinfall. Looks like the bitch. I don't think, if I remember rightly from what I saw, I was phasing in and out of this match. I don't think we got the big RKO spot on Omos, did we?
No, I don't believe we did.
It's just to facilitate a breakup, you'd assume, at some point. Happy with RK Bro as new tag champions?
I mean, honestly, their dynamic is really interesting. It's definitely not what Orton was doing against Edge. Like, I think he's definitely come down a bit because I think they're trying to raise Riddle up to that level of Orton, which in a way is fine. It, like, seeing Riddle being the stupid, like, lovesick puppy, it's a little endearing, if not a little annoying at times.
He's done well, actually. He's done very well.
My problem with this is watching AJ Styles lose again. Like, I'm glad that Omos has been with him, learning from one of the best, if not the best in the company. But AJ should be, like, doing single stuff, being in the contention for the WWE Championship. I think him and Lashley could have some bangers. So maybe we can move on to that after Omos crushes him, because that's inevitably what's going to happen.
Yeah, I worry about AJ Styles' use. If I'm AJ Styles, I mean, he got a lot of money to stay at WWE and go to WWE in the first place. He's been there for the better part of 5 years now, 5.5. So, there's not much left for him to do. At least he got to be WWE champion. He got to be, at the pinnacle of the business. He got to be at WrestleMania and basically tick off everything on his bucket list. He's done everything. He has nothing left to do. Unless, of course, you want to see him in AEW. And at this point, I don't think they would even be able to find decent room for him, especially with the influx of people coming in right now. So I'm pleased for RK Bro. I think they've been the best part of Raw for the better part of a month now, especially Riddle. Whether you like Riddle or not for allegations, whether you want to believe said allegations or not, Riddle is very entertaining, actually. He's very funny. And like you say, the comedic kind of faraway look in his eyes, like a lost puppy who's desperate for the approval of his master, has actually been really well done. And yeah, leave it to Randy Orton, after all these years of us giving him the business for being boring, to be arguably the most entertaining facet, or part of one of the most entertaining facets of WWE. So I thought that was a good show opener, to be honest. Then it took a big dip for me. Alexa Bliss beat Ava Marie in a shit 3-minute 50 match. And literally the only thing to talk about here is really the fact that Doudrop made fun of Ava Marie and then walked off. Why couldn't this have been done on Raw?
Could this have been done on the pre-show? If you had to do it at all?
Imagine having Big E, like one of your, I assume, potentially one of your biggest stars going forward, particularly if he cashes in and becomes WWE champion, which is what I think he's going to do. Imagine having him on the pre-show, but having this fucking garbage. I am running out of love and steam and interest in Alexa Bliss, and this doll is fucking stupid. It's trash. It's not funny. It's not edgy. It is solely there as a merchandising ploy. And to be honest, I didn't see many people in the crowd waving these things around. I think I saw 1 or 2 on the entrance ramp. Other than that, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did well. Maybe they sold a lot of Alexa Bliss merchandise. From what I hear from the news that me and Astrid covered on Friday, which you can also listen to, our last podcast, there is a indication of, if this doesn't do well from a merchandising standpoint, then they might pull the plug on Alexa Bliss's gimmick and maybe move her back to what she was doing originally. I'd be more than okay with that. I think this is trash at this point.
Yeah, especially with Bray Wyatt, because like their dynamic was really interesting, and then
Fuck that guy.
yeah, God, really, it's she she says she learned a lot from him when they release him and stuff, and that's fine. I'm glad like that she's trying, but I don't think it's hitting anymore. It's almost it's just silly, and not in a funny way. It's just like roll your eyes kind of silly. You go, oh, okay, what's gonna happen now? The doll's gonna spook someone. Woo! And I love Alexa Bliss. I think she's incredible, but this is not her thing. I don't think, not anymore.
Go away heat, and it's really hurting your value and your stock in Alexa Bliss. People aren't going to take her as seriously if you continue down this route. And then what happens is she's devalued, which would be great if you're looking to release her as well. And I could very much see them within a year releasing Alexa Bliss. I could really see that, and I think that will cause a lot of inclinations as well. But ultimately, I just think this is fucking garbage. The United States Championship, the storylines around it have been garbage, but I'll tell you what, it delivered a fucking whopper match. I feel like the crowd didn't appreciate how good this match was. Damien Priest captures the United States Championship from Sheamus in an absolute slugfest. These boys beat the shit out of each other. The headbutt alone was worth the entrance fee. That was gnarly. Sheamus headbutted him square in the temple. It was ugly, ugly vision. You could hear it. It was, really grim, and using the lack of mass to his advantage to finally snap and capture the United States title was a good thing. This was actually, up until this point, by far and away my favorite match.
Oh, 100%, because you and I have talked about this before. No one respects Sheamus the way they should, because he is incredible. He's been in WWE now for 13 years, whatever 2009 was. Jesus Christ, that was a long time ago.
He has a horrible reputation, I hear, backstage for being a bully, being an arsehole. I've not personally ever seen anything. Obviously, I wouldn't, but I'm privy to a lot of information, and obviously I've read a lot of books and stuff, and he is somebody who crops up a lot as a complete and utter arsehole, but people don't want to say too much because he's on the mainstream platform. Not that it means anything, at least from this perspective, but I love this match. I thought this was great, and this showed what Damien Priest can be when he's taken seriously. And like you say, Sheamus, once again, delivering. I think this was probably, when it was all said and done, one of the top level matches of the night.
100%.
Just like Riddle and Sheamus was at WrestleMania. Just like every time Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre held up Raw for quite a while, on its back, on their back. I think Sheamus, whether he's an arsehole personally or not, is besides the point. If he's going to go out and deliver these kind of matches and work this kind of style, he deserves a lot of respect, because we're not going to get much more of Sheamus, I don't think. Mind you, I keep saying that and he still keeps coming back. Maybe he'll be here in 5 years' time. But I think Damien Priest finally winning the United States Championship is a good thing as well.
Yeah, he's got such a good look, and man, I love his finisher. I think the Reckoning is the coolest looking thing. I mean, I swear it had a different name in NXT. It was like Hit the Lights or something. It was like a Metallica reference. Yeah, it was a Metallica reference.
That's probably why I got away from it, even though Metallica are great friends of WWE.
But I mean, yeah, he has a great look. His entrance, I think, is incredible. Like the whole archery of infamy thing is really neat. And it's just another example of Sheamus putting over this young talent, like he did Riddle at Mania, Priest now. I mean, at this point in Sheamus's career, that's probably the best thing we can ask for, is for him to put over the new upcoming guys, and he does it so well.
Yeah, he's the master of being the transitional champion. He holds the title on TV for a while, maybe picks up the odd pay-per-view performance, and then when it comes to the big time and the big stage, he hands the belt off to somebody who the company trusts to do well, and that's exactly what they did. We didn't get any real shenanigans from it, but the SmackDown Tag Team Championship was fantastic. The Usos, some might argue, finally get their WrestleMania moment after all this time, because the only other time they had a high-profile match on the main card was when they faced the Bludgeon Brothers, one up for my G, Luke Harper. And that was a squash match, which nobody really cared about, whereas this was actually an excellent wrestling match. Really great stuff. This, for me, cemented how good the Usos are as the best tag team of the modern era, in my opinion. Great stuff. Simple, effective. No flim flam. Didn't get any Dominic Rey Mysterio shenanigans. Maybe they're going to save that for later. They didn't want to throw everything at this pay-per-view. But I thought this match was actually fucking good. Excellent. Definitely the best tag team match I saw all night.
I mean, Rey Mysterio is 46 or 47 years old and still doing what he does. Like, I remember seeing that guy at my little like hockey arena here in 2005, and he's still doing the same shit now. The
I
guy is
saw him.
ageless.
I saw him like only about 4 or 5 years ago. Wrestle Marty Skull. um, in
Ooh,
York Hall. Who fuck that guy in Rev Pro, and yeah, that was the main event that night. And he was, I think, 41, 42 going into that match. And you thought, okay, he's not going to be. And it was amazing. It was fucking fantastic. They just went balls to the wall. They could have easily phoned it in a little bit, and people would have been happy just to say they'd seen Rey Mysterio. And then he went out there and delivered a 20-minute classic with a wrestler. So it's I like this match. I never get tired of watching the Usos. I think they're one of the best all-round tag teams in history. I think they deliver everything. They're world-class on the mic. They're world-class in the ring. They've got a great look. They've got presence. They've got heritage and history that comes with them. I don't think there's anything the Usos can't do. I think they are massive. I really do. And I think the only thing that stops them from being bigger is clearly Vince McMahon's massive aggression towards tag team wrestling, because he clearly doesn't give a shit. Even though the Raw Tag Team titles was entertaining to a certain extent, it's still two singles teams, whereas this was actually legitimate tag teams, and it dwarfed the other match just from the concept of tradition. So it was good. It was very good. And then we got the SmackDown Women's Championship.
oh,
Now,
yeah, that.
my voice is fucked, but I will be angry. Bianca Belair comes out to defend the match against to defend the belt, against Sasha Banks, who's not here. Don't know why yet. I haven't read any dirt sheets. I'll have a look while Carl's talking about the match. So they announced Carmella. Now, I will say one thing: Carmella's so fit, like so fine. Like, she is a specimen, mate. So I'm always happy to see her. Then we get the big return, and you probably saw my tweet last night. Despair followed by utter ecstasy, followed by utter despair, in the most crazy of circumstances. Becky Lynch makes her return. Huge pop, arena shaking, great stuff. Not the biggest pop of the weekend. We all know who that was.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy too. Whatever. Like, it'll
It
make
is what it is.
If nothing else, it'll make me watch their shows more. I will say that much.
Right.
But the next guy coming in will definitely make me watch their shows a lot more. But ultimately, I was so angry. Like, first of all, no Sasha Banks. She's one of your biggest stars. If you had to say to me, you have 5 slots, and in those 5 slots, you must put the best wrestlers WWE has in terms of all-round talent, you must put Sasha Banks in your top 5. She's beautiful. She's incredible. She's more than beautiful. She is scintillating, like, as I like to say, hotter than a one-way ticket to hell. She's not there. We don't know why. I just hope she's okay and she's healthy and she's safe. That's all that's important to me. I'm not going to, levy abuse at her online or anything like that. It's just ridiculous. And luckily, there hasn't been too much of that, thankfully, because people are scum. Becky Lynch coming back, as you know, I'm not a fan. I don't really enjoy Becky. I actually preferred Becky Lynch before the and all that kind of bullshit, and before she was ridiculously over. So I liked her when she was the underdog, when she was really grinding hard. And
the original brand split in 2016 when she was SmackDown Live's first women's champion.
Amazing. Yeah, her little rivalry with Alexa Bliss, and she was fantastic, and the crowd really responded to her. And I know that they respond to her more now, so that's just my opinion. I'm clearly in the wrong in terms of the universe, but it's just my subjective opinion. But there's no doubt, and it was a cool moment to see her back. She looks really happy and somewhat healthy. She looks very thin, actually, dare I say. And I'm not body shaming before people go after. I'm just saying what I see. She looked quite, I don't know. I mean, she had a child. Congratulations. And I know how difficult it is to lose baby weight. I've been carrying my baby weight for my entire life, so I can't really chat shit in that regard. But then she challenges Bianca Belair, and I'm thinking, do you know what? That's a pretty shit hot thing to do. Becky Lynch comes back, has a 20-minute banger. No, she doesn't. Becky Lynch beats Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship in 27 seconds. What do you think?
I like Becky Lynch a little more than you do. I think people know that. And I was excited, man. I won't lie, I pulled my tits off. Because, I mean, when you hear the crowd go off, it's hard not to kind of get swept up in it. It's a really cool moment. I mean, just like, the Punk return. I didn't watch it, but I watched the clip, and you get goosebumps because it's a cool moment. She beats up Carmella, throws her out, and everyone. Because I swear to God, that arena was going to explode if that Carmella match went through. No hating on Carmella, just they wanted Bianca Sasha so bad. It was like a vacuum sucked the air out. It was funny and scary. But then, we're like, okay, now we're going to get Becky, Bianca. Awesome. First off, Manhandle Slam is the stupidest finisher name I've ever heard in my fucking life. It was a Uranagi rock bottom bookend kind of thing. Yeah, awful. Awful. And all it did is ruin all of the momentum Bianca Belair has had since WrestleMania. I love Becky, honestly. I just do. I was so happy. And then I had never been so conflicted in my life because, since she's been gone, being a mom, which is, fantastic. I'm so happy for her and Seth. I'm sure the baby is adorable. But to just come back and ruin this 6 months, it was a kick in the dick. On the one hand, I'm happy she's not on Raw because if I have to see her and Charlotte again, I'm going to kill myself. Not because they can't wrestle well, but because we've seen it since they both got called up.
I think he's on SmackDown because Seth Rollins is on SmackDown as well.
Yeah, that's a fair play.
Fine, you deserve to be with your partner. I've got no problem with that.
Yeah, neither do I. The problem I have is her coming in and ruining Bianca like that. Sure, the story might be, one of them could turn heel. Like we could actually get a real story out of it. But in the moment, it was just a kick in the dick. And, she's back, cool. And now I guess we have to wait and see. But no, man, I was so disappointed last night.
I thought it was fucking garbage. I've got no problem with Becky Lynch coming back. I wouldn't have had no problem with her winning the belt if it had been a highly competitive match and she just eked out Bianca Belair. But you ruined Bianca Belair's credibility. You ruined it. What was the fucking point? Bianca Belair has gone 6 months of being one of the most entertaining and exciting talents in this entire company. You bring her out, you have an African-American women's champion, which is a really awesome thing to do once again. She had that magical main event at WrestleMania, and then you shit the bed here. What you've done is you've built her up beautifully, and then what you've done is essentially gone and just cut the fucking legs out from underneath her and said, cool, that's 6 months down the shitter. Pick up that 6 months of hard work, put it in the fucking trash can. Fuck this woman. Because now I'm watching thinking, okay, she lost in 27 seconds. She looks like a fucking jobber. She looks like a joke. Not only that, you've also made Carmella look like a twat. Now that works for Carmella a little bit because she's a heel. There's definitely a kind of precedent that's been set off. Carmella is one step below, and that's fine. We understand that. She's still beautiful. She's great at getting heat, by the way. Good position to put her in with everybody expecting Sasha Banks because she can come out and they're like, you're not Sasha Banks, fuck you. But it works because nobody wants to like her anyway because she's beautiful and went out of everybody's reach. And that's kind of her gimmick, is that she's fit and that she's above us because of that. This was horrible. And what it does is, for someone like me who doesn't like Becky Lynch that much anyway, who recognizes that she is a big draw, but is not my cup of tea, I now have zero interest in watching her on TV. She will come out on Smackdown this week, and I will go fast forward, thank you very much, because I have got no interest in watching that, because you completely buried who could be potentially one of the biggest stars you'll have for the next 15 years in favor of her going over. If anything, you should have had her come out. You should have said, she should have said, I want a shot at that title, but not now. We'll wait for that. Maybe later down the line. And then you could have had maybe them get into a fucking Whopper brawl and then have them just wreck shop. I would have personally had it so Bianca Belair is like, okay, then let's fucking, who the fuck do you think you are? You don't walk into I've been building this house while you've been away having a fucking baby, and it just all out brawling to you. Have them beat the shit out of each other. They have to be separated, have both of them screaming, I'll fucking kill you. I'll fucking kill you. I will end you, and have it that way. And instead they were like, spunk it just like that, because I'm willing to bet they are very nervous about what AEW are doing right now. This is why they threw literally everything at it. Now, this is a big moment, her winning the title, but what you've done is you completely counter-programmed everything else underneath it. So unless Becky Lynch is going to go on to have an incredibly masterful run and maybe put the belt back on Belair in a fantastic rematch or something, you've completely crippled my passion for this. I haven't found anything on Sasha Banks. I've been having a look around. Nothing seems to be floating around on the dirt sheets. Hopefully she's okay. I don't know if she's released a statement personally. I'm disappointed I didn't get Sasha Banks versus Belair too. Hopefully I'll get that later down the line for the title. But
how do you ruin the return of Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair at the same time? I'm gonna say masterful, but I don't mean it in a good way.
it just smelled bad. It felt bad and it smelled bad. And by the way, all of you woke people who love Becky Lynch, who I see, they're the same people who were talking about, friends of mine going on social media talking about, oh, we love Bianca Belair. She's a signal of something new and different. She's an African-American champion. She's representation. Oh, but Becky Lynch winning is amazing too. You can't win with these people. It's garbage is what it is. It was a garbage moment, and Becky Lynch, for my money, is not important or good enough to completely bury Bianca Belair the way she did. By the way, once again, Becky Lynch, I've said this several times and it upsets people. She doesn't have very good matches. Her matches are boring. They're poor. They are. And she only has good matches when she's wrestling. Charlotte Flair, maybe Rhea Ripley at a stretch if you put her in there, and Asuka. But I feel that she's always carried for the most part in her matches. And, we were shown here. And apparently the one rumor I did hear is that she's not ready to go. She's not ready to wrestle yet. If that's the case, she shouldn't be here. Simple as that. Coming out here and giving her a shit fucking rock bottom like that. That's the other thing as well. Like you said, the move looks shit. I'm done with it. It pissed me off really badly. Really, really badly. And then we get apathy. Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal. 4 minutes 40.
This was supposed to save us.
I thought Jinder was going to save me. No. Apparently, according to Cameron Anderson, there was a bigger pot for Jinder Mahal in the pub they watched it in than there was for Becky Lynch.
I believe that.
Yeah, that's because we believe in true gender equality at the Wrestle plugin in Brighton, which is where I'm currently based. I don't care. This match could have been done on Raw. This match could have been done on the pre-show. Why didn't you have this match and the women's match, Alexa Bliss? Why didn't you just put them both on the pre-show? Cool. Job done. Little warm-up for the crowd. Then you can get to the serious stuff with all the titles later. Apathy. Pure apathy. By the way, Drew McIntyre feels like a whopping great mid-carder right now.
Yeah, this is a guy who was WWE champion this time last year. Just saying. So, I mean, was it just under 5 minutes? I think you said.
Yeah, 4 minutes 40. To be honest, I'm surprised it went that long. I thought this was going to be like a 1 minute squash or something. So, Jinder Mahal. I know I'm in the minority. I love Jinder. I think he has value. I think he could be a great United States champion. I think Jinder is the perfect first heel to step up to Damien Priest's reign. Get a nice little program going between those two. Nice bit of diversity as well. I know I'm in the minority, but he can do a good job, even if it is just being the dastardly foreign heel who eventually gets knocked off. But this was a waste of my time. Triple threat match, Women's Raw Championship. Charlotte Flair, who would have funked it, wins the Raw Women's Championship. I actually thought this match was excellent. Definitely. It's not saying much, but it was definitely the best women's match of the night because it was the only one that was really a match. Let's be real. I mean, the other two women combined only went 4.5 minutes, the other two matches. I like this match. I thought Nikki Ash looked good. It was very obvious that she was in there to take the pinfall. I'm disappointed that Rhea Ripley didn't get a moment once again. I like Charlotte Flair. I must say the corkscrew moonsault when she almost murdered Nikki Ash was wild.
Looked real good.
Yeah, that looks so sick. To be honest, Charlotte Flair was borderline flawless in this match and proved why she is by far and away the best women's wrestler in the world. And if you don't like that, cry me a fucking river. She's just better. She really is. Yeah, disappointing. Imagine being Naomi sitting in the back watching this, seeing the other women and everything and thinking, I can't even get on the card. And there's no Asuka either. So it is what it is. But Charlotte Flair's Raw Women's Champion again. Is that right? Is that a good decision?
It's just back to the normal status quo, man. Like, she's been champion so many times. I think they say she's a 12-time champion now because they don't count NXT for some reason. I don't know why that happened, but then
Because
again,
Vince
NXT is
McMahon doesn't
apparently
like midgets.
yeah, fuck me. But I mean, Nikki winning was a big moment. She got the briefcase, she cashed in, great. She was champion for like a month. I mean, I heard reports and stuff saying she wasn't over at live events, and then she would be hugely over on Raw
She wasn't
sometimes.
over here, was she? Like that was one thing
No,
actually I noted down. The crowd were really against Nikki for the most part. Apathy. Rhea Ripley got a decent response, but from what I could tell, Charlotte Flair was very fucking popular with the crowd. Very popular. You know, she got big pops, and to be honest, Charlotte Flair is master. I'm sorry, but the reason I think Charlotte Flair is the best is because she is. She elevates herself beyond everybody else. She looks like a champion. She acts like one. She talks like one. She dresses like one. Like Roman Reigns right now. She feels like she's up here and everyone else is kind of here scrapping to try and get up here, but they can't get to that next level. Rhea Ripley, for me, is the only one who feels like she should be up there with her on the Raw brand, that is. You know, because Asuka is just buried beyond recognition at this point. I don't have a problem with Charlotte Flair winning. It's just the state of what's wrong with their women's division because the other women are great. Nikki's a great wrestler. Rhea Ripley is a star and is a great wrestler. Asuka's a great wrestler. Naomi's a great wrestler. Nia Jax is Nia Jax.
Nia Jax.
You know, not fair. She, by the way, she looks gorgeous with the new hair. Love that. You know, they're a wet Shayna Baszler. Again, amazing. Shayna Baszler should be stepping up. In fact, now would be a good time to turn her face, break her away from Nia Jax, and attack Charlotte Flair and give us a fucking good rivalry there. I'd be well up for that. But this just sums up the state of their booking. The fact of the matter is Charlotte Flair is the only one who looks credible enough to be champion, so she has to keep winning the belt. The problem is, if she's going to win it, just make her keep it for a year. Instead of like, oh, I'll drop it to the Money in the Bank champion. Oh, I'll drop it here, but then win it back a month later. You know, if you keep doing that, you're gonna piss people off. Charlotte Flair is a little bit like John Cena in some ways, in the sense of she's got to be at the top because you haven't got any other stars, or you're refusing to build other stars, particularly as all the other stars seem to have shifted over to SmackDown. It's a good decision, but it's got bad intentions. That's how it feels to me.
Yeah, I believe hot potatoing the title like that devalues it. Like you want someone to hang on to it and get a good run with it. And if you want Charlotte champion, fine. Like you say, let her keep it forever. Just stop sacrificing people at her altar.
That's the problem. Like, there's nothing wrong with Charlotte Flair being at the top, but it doesn't mean everybody else has to suffer for her to stay there. Seth Rollins versus Edge was fucking amazing.
This was my match of the night.
Yeah, it was my match of the night by some margin. It was the match I said would be match of the night, and it was. The entrance, the Edge.
Entrance alone.
Edge's entrance had me at full mast. As soon as, like, the only thing missing was actually the appearance of Gangrel.
I would have popped so hard for Gangrel, dude.
Yeah, like he should have had. What they should have done is have Gangrel stood there, and then Edge just like appears behind him, like, and it's just like Gangrel's like passing the torch. He's like, "You're in charge now. You're the man now." Like, I think that would have been quite cool. But nonetheless, the full music, the fire, him coming up through the fire, it was so sick. He had the shades on. He had a Brood-inspired jacket as well, which I thought was beautiful. Then his music hits, and the crowd fucking pops harder because Edge is, for my money, quite right now, the most exciting and best wrestler in the world. And he's 47. So that speaks volumes about this state of, well, it speaks volumes about the fact that age actually doesn't mean jack shit in wrestling. And it never has really, because Ric Flair was in his prime in his mid to late 40s as well. And Ric Flair in his prime was pretty special. Seth Rollins was great, by the way. I'm really starting to enjoy him. The fact that every single fucking suit he wears looks like your mum's couch is fantastic. I think that's great. I loved his ring gear. He had this kind of almost like Red Scarlet Pimpernel thing going on, he looked like a musketeer, like an old kind of.
It reminded me of like an old William Regal jacket in a way.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a Revolution kind of feel to it. Love the kind of the shin plates where one of them was out and one of them wasn't, like a kind of gauntlet. Thought that was very cool. Someone will probably tell me that it's a comic book character that I have no clue about, but I thought it looked good. Edge's ring gear always looks on point, and they also delivered a world-class match. It only went 21 minutes. It was just so beautifully done, and oh my god, when he goes for the spear and he catches him in midair with a pedigree, that was one of the smoothest interceptions of a finisher I've ever seen. That's where this match showed you and reminded you that Seth Rollins, when he wants to be, is one of the best wrestlers in the world. And man, Edge once again going out there, picking up a phenomenal match and and also, to be fair, I feel like this is Edge's first major win, outside of maybe winning the Rumble, but this is definitely his first major singles win in a match, because he's kind of been good and done the job and helped get other guys over in the process, other than maybe his matches with Randy Orton, which were good, but I love them personally. A lot of people shit on them, especially the WrestleMania one. But I thought this was by far and away the best we've seen of Edge. I feel like Edge is just getting better and better and better, and it's between Edge and Joshua Alexander for my wrestler of the year right now. Like, they're both like fucking at it like mad. I may give it to Josh because he's got more body of work, but fuck me, this was fucking awesome. I kind of wish this was the main event, because I don't think anything else got close to it.
A couple Canadian lads as wrestler for the year, no big deal. We produce some good ones over here, don't we?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you fucking do. It was great. What do you got any thoughts on it before we shift over to the Carney portion of the night?
Yeah, I was also at full mast for the Brood entrance. I even tweeted that, and then Mr. Eddie Kenway responded to me because he follows me on Twitter now. Shout out to the man. I'm like, yeah, I had a huge boner. He's like, yeah, me fucking too. I'm like, oh. It was so good. And then, he drops a jacket, Menelagus starts, and the crowd goes even louder. Probably two of the top 5 best wrestling themes ever hit the same person.
Yeah.
Because the Brood was so good. And then, like you say, that spear counter into the pedigree was great. Edge catching Rollins' foot from the stomp, like turning it into the educator was really fucking cool. Just Edge busting out all the classics, and then wins with like a sleeper crossface kind of thing, which also looked really gnarly.
Yeah, I like the fact he transitioned away from Danny Bryan's move into what was essentially the captain's hook that Brian Kendrick uses, which is just a very, very violent sleeper hold, and it looked very real, and you could see in Seth Rollins' face. He was very good at emoting the fact that he was in so much trouble, he needed to tap or he was going to pass out. Brilliant. Masterpiece. Storytelling, excellent. One of the better matches I've seen on pay-per-view in quite some time, it has to be said. So everything Edge does is magical. So special to me. Then we get the WWE title match, which I actually loved. I loved this. This is my favorite Goldberg match since WrestleMania 33. And probably my favorite Goldberg match actually ever since he stepped foot in a WWE ring back in 2003. Yeah.
03 to 04.
Yeah, the night after WrestleMania 19, I believe. Unbelievable. Because it was stupid and it was violent and it was everything that you kind of expect from sports entertainment. Goldberg is clearly gassing near the end. Now, I've seen people shitting on it because Goldberg wouldn't do the job, but I don't think that's fair because it was a stoppage. Bobby Lashley beat him beyond recognition, essentially. I know people are going to say, yeah, but, it's a cheap shit way to win because he hit him in the leg, at ringside. I thought MVP looked so swag, by the way. What a man. He was so good at ringside, talking shit. Beat his ass! He was having such a good time with it. Bobby Lashley looked immense. By the way, the first chop block when he hit Goldberg in the knee was one of the gnarliest chop blocks I think I've ever seen in my life. I think that might be the most violent chop block in the history of wrestling.
It was the most athletic thing I've ever seen Bill Goldberg do.
Yeah, he went fucking inside.
He flipped out of it, yeah.
And to be fair, so Bobby Lashley retains from stoppage. That's great. The highlight for me is him attacking a 15-year-old boy. That's gonna
abuse.
That's gonna cop me a lot of abuse. There's a joke I can make, but if I make it on this platform, they'll probably shut Wrestle Plug down, so I'm not going to. But like, holy shit, I popped my tits off when he put a 15-year-old boy in the Hurt Lock. I thought that was the sickest thing I saw all night. I thought that was hilarious. I actually fucking pissed my pants laughing. And the fact that, oh my God, MVP as well on the mic. Classic, like, I don't want to, because I'm not black, I don't want to really say it, but it kind of felt like one of those things of like, you know, like the police officer's trying to understand what the fuck you've done. And he's just like, I didn't do nothing, boss. Like, it was that kind of thing. He was like, yo, that could have been anyone. That could have been anyone. Like, oh,
didn't know that was Goldberg's son.
It was so fucking good. And Gage, bless him, I think had a good time with it. He looked like he was trying not to pop. And his dad, by the way, Goldberg was so shit in his acting. I'm gonna kill you. Like, if I was that, I was like, you touch my fucking son, I'll fucking kill you. I would have been like that, proper emotion. He's like, son, I'll kill you. So shit. But it was so fucking good for that. That put it over the top for me. I was like, oh my God, he just put a 15-year-old boy in a fucking Hurt Lock. Never mind the fact the 50-year-old boy looks like he's 24. I didn't care. I was like, that is so fucking funny. I just thought it was great. What did you think of the WWE title match for what it was?
I mean, it's fun for what it was. It would have been nice to have like a definitive win, I guess, you know, actually getting the pinfall. But I think Goldberg still did the job. I was a little worried he might win because every time Goldberg shows up, you're like, could he though?
Longest match I've seen Goldberg in for quite some time as well. Fuck me. Like, it went 7 minutes 10, and that's long for Goldberg. I
think that's 3 minutes longer than the last him and Lesnar match at Mania because it only lasted like 3 minutes. It was everyone spamming the L1 button for finishers.
Yeah, that was so sick though. I love that match. It was just a car crash from start to finish. The Goldberg is one of those things now where I actually can't wait to see Goldberg. I've realized something. I want Goldberg in WWE on the odd occasion because he'll either deliver you a horrible match that you can laugh at, or he'll deliver some crazy car crash match like he had with Lesnar, or he'll just deliver out and out superlatives, which he did here. Like, all of his matches are so stupid or over the top or ridiculous or nonsensical, and they're kind of entertaining because of that. I actually love this WWE title match. I thought it was great fun. And it put Lashley over as such an asshole as well. You know, he's leveling him with the knee. And to be honest, kid, you jumped in the ring. That's a big no-no. So you're fair game as far as I'm concerned. It would have been funny if you dragged him out of the crowd actually and assaulted him. That would have been probably the only thing that would have made it even better.
Puberty hit that kid like a truck, by the way. Do you remember like the short little kid when Goldberg first came back? And he'd like, yeah, I want my son to see me wrestle. He's just like this little short, like no hair kid. Now he's just a fucking built like a 15-year-old brick shithouse.
Yeah, he's going to be, I think he's playing college or high school football. I think he's going to end up being a big deal. Like, he's going to be massive like his dad. You can just tell he's already jacked. Good for him. Good for him. Enjoy the pussy, young man, because it's coming. Simple as that. Just before this, actually, there was Miz and Morrison getting drenched by a Razor Ramon inspired Wolfpack Xavier Woods. That sucked. That sucked so hard. Where was Kofi Kingston, by the way? Was he not allowed? Like, that's too many black people. Just see Vince, shut up. Why are all this? There's too many black people. We need to change this. Diversify my ass. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Main event. Roman Reigns versus John Cena for the Universal Championship. I thought it was really boring.
John Cena's matches have never been.
Yeah, really it's his fault as well. It's not Roman Reigns' fault. It's John Cena's fault because Roman Reigns has great matches. It wasn't like I remember saying to myself, because I only really just finished watching it about an hour ago. I remember saying to myself in my head, it's fine. It's a good match. But everything Roman Reigns has done up to this point has been great or excellent. Now, a lot of that has to do with his opponents, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Edge. You know, we're talking about the best of the best. The proper best in the world, you know, the ones who actually turn up for work. But I'm sitting here thinking, this was just not as good as everything else I've seen. And because of that, I didn't care as much. Fair play to Cena, a guy who is clearly now a massive movie star. He's probably going to go even further thanks to Suicide Squad, which I am delightfully informed is amazing. Everyone I know who's seen it, including yourself and my good boy Danny, has seen it. They've all said it's amazing. I look forward to going and watch it. Hopefully this week. I've got a very busy week though. Going out for Korean food tomorrow. Oh yeah, I'm well excited about that. Never gone out for Korean food before. Yeah, no, I just I wanted it to be amazing, and it was just okay. And because of that, I was like, nah. And like I say, I was about to say, fair play to Cena. He went out there and he actually put in a shift. He took bumps and he did moves and he didn't get injured and he looked good. And I'll tell you what, it was a lot better than when The Rock came back and faced him at WrestleMania. Much better than that. But it just, I just didn't care that much. At least Roman won and he won clean.
I mean, I liked Cena's shirt. I've never been a huge Cena fan, but having like all the titles and on stuff on the back, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, let's not forget they totally ripped off Super Mario 3. Like, I'm not fucking retarded. I saw exactly what was going on there, and I liked it. If you're gonna do a parody, that was good shit. If I'm ever gonna be tempted to buy a Cena shirt, and believe me, I'm not going to, because I'm not a mark like you, George. I'm certainly not a mark like you, fuckboy Cameron. Fuck buying a Cena shirt, but if ever I was tempted, it would have been that one, because that was quite cool. That was quite cool. I like that. That's a great t-shirt for the kids. If I had a kid, I would have bought in that. If I had my kid there, I would have been like, yeah, you can have that t-shirt, definitely. Because I will decide, if I have children, what t-shirts they're allowed to wear. And they will only wear good t-shirts, like Edge's t-shirts. They will not be wearing shit. Not be wearing garbage. Like fucking lime green. Unnecessary.
Definitely not the coolest thing to see in the main event, though.
Yeah, I mean, Roman Reigns wins the title and the show goes off the air. Not bad.
Yep. That's it, guys. That's great.
That's it. Nothing to talk about here. I did wet my absolute pants when Brock Lesnar made his return. By the way, he looks so cool right now.
Oh, he looks like a badass.
Oh, the beard.
More so than usual.
Little bit of a top knot going on. By the way, Paul Heyman selling his return was a masterpiece. Best acting I saw all night. He was amazing. He was like, no, it was so good. And it was almost like buried a little bit. But can I just say, actually, I'll say it afterwards, because I want to talk about how good, because this is a big positive for me. I think Lesnar is a megastar. I've always said that, whether you like him or not. By the way, did you hear the pop? It was earth-shattering.
Biggest pop of the night.
Definitely. Was it the biggest pop of the weekend? I don't care, personally. I know people are saying it wasn't as big as CM Punk's spot. CM Punk returned in his hometown of Chicago. If he'd done that, now by the way, Vegas is notorious for being an incredibly quiet place to wrestle, so that speaks volumes. I would love to have seen what it would have been like in like Philadelphia or New York or something. But I don't care. Pops are pops. You have your fun. We'll have ours. Everyone just enjoy the fact that they can watch whatever wrestling they want. Man, he looks so good. One thing we didn't see, actually, did you see that he decked the shit out of John Cena after the show went off?
Yeah, just gave Cena a bunch of Germans. And
yeah,
I'm really excited because this looks like a face Lesnar, and the dynamic between face Lesnar and heel Reigns is really interesting to me. Like, they could have because Extreme Rules is next.
By the way, he looks so huge. Holy shit, the size of Lesnar. Like, he's always been big, but he is in whopper condition. There's no body fat there, and his arms scared of. I've got a very long wingspan, as people know. I've got very long arms, and so I've always kind of admired Brock Lesnar because he's got big Neanderthal gorilla arms. You know, he's I love. By the way, Pat McAfee was incredible, and when he just went, the alpha male of our species is back. I was like, put that on a t-shirt. The alpha male of our species. I'll buy that. I want Lesnar gear, or I also want the white Roman Reigns head of the table t-shirt. I really like that. I'm a mark for Roman Reigns. By the way, I loved him. I love the way he kept screaming, "You need me. I'm WWE. I am WWE. You need me." I thought that was so good. There was great things about it, and Brock Lesnar coming back is amazing. How much are we going to get of him, though, do you think? I worry that we're not going to see enough of him for it to be great long term. I got to see him at least once every 2 or 3 weeks.
It's definitely not going to be a week-to-week thing.
No.
Maybe I don't want them to smuggle that Extreme Rules, so I think those two could have a whopper in any
Got to be
sort
Survivor
of.
Series, and it built to Survivor Series. If you
No, you can't do that, dude. It's brand warfare at Survivor Series. The only time Raw and SmackDown go head to head.
Well, then give us Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
If you're going to take the belt off of Reigns, do it now and have Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley at Survivor Series in a cage, a octagon, and it has to be legitimately until someone dies, and that'll be it, and that will be the end of WWE, and that'll be perfect, and then AEW can do what they want to do. I don't know what to use Brock Lesnar with, but I'm excited about the fact that, fuck me, SmackDown, is it worth watching Raw at this point?
No.
Wow, Raw sucks. Like, Raw sucks, even when it's not on. You're thinking, am I watching Raw tomorrow night? I might give it a skip, because why am I watching it when Lesnar, Reigns, Lynch, Belair, Banks, they're all over on SmackDown. The Usos are on SmackDown. Like, everything's on SmackDown. Like, I get it. That's where all the money is. That's where the viewership. I think Vince McMahon is loading up SmackDown on purpose, because he knows that that's going to, be where and also Rampage has kind of signaled its intent. Although I actually really like Rampage. It's only an hour. I think an hour-long show is always good for wrestling. I think it's nice and easy and digestible. And I never got a chance to mark out on this podcast about the fact that the new Impact Wrestling champion is Christian Cage, which was beautiful. That was my favorite thing I've seen AEW do probably ever, was Kenny Omega do the job for Christian Cage. Although, weirdly enough, despite hating Kenny Omega, done half bury him now, done it? It's like, well, now I don't give a shit if he loses because I've seen him lose. On the Rampage, your 1 hour tribute to Thunder. Anyway, SummerSlam, Lesnar's back. How was the show? Did you enjoy it? Was it the biggest party of the summer that you wanted?
It was a roller coaster of emotion, because they had some great things.
51,000, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Then, the high points felt like, 20,000 kicks to the dick, where the low parts felt like 31,000 kicks to the dick. It's probably, I'd give it like 2 Jinders, maybe 3 max, because Jinder himself automatically gives you 1.
Well, that's what you're giving it out of 10.
Out of 10, I might give it like a 6. Like, it was okay, and some of the high points were awesome, but for the most part, it was just it didn't feel like a big 4 pay-per-view show to me.
I'm in agreement, actually. I was interested to see what you would say. I gave it 4 out of 10. I thought it was awful for the most part. It wasn't awful. It was boring. There was too much that was boring. So, like, looking down a card, like, which we've just done, like, there was plenty of good stuff in there, but there was too much. Like, it was 2/3 crap and then 1/3 of excellence. And because of that, it kind of just washes itself down. Lesnar coming back is great, but it doesn't make for a pay-per-view. Lynch coming back didn't interest me, so obviously I'm not going to give it that extra Jinder, because that doesn't really bother me. Jinder was on it, so therefore it needs an extra Jinder. That's the rules of our ratings, by the way. Like, you get a Jinder based solely on the fact that Jinder is on the show. There was no Bollywood Boys. They've unfortunately been released. That would have been worthy of at least a total Jinder. So you've messed yourself up there by not having the Bollywood Boys still around. I suppose we could give Veer and Shanky. Do we give it like 1 Jinder and a Veer, or 1 Jinder? We need to work out a system where Veer is worth half and Shanky is worth 1/3, or maybe Shanky's worth 1/8. Shanky's worth 1/8 because he got fucking ruined with about 20 billion chair shots. And by the way, Mick Foley having the nerve to critique that, you got some nerves. Behave yourself. Missed the chair himself. Even the chairman, Sean Spears, didn't want to say anything about that. I just thought it was a bit not good. Yeah, it was a bit. It just didn't feel big time. I thought the crowd was okay. That I think it would have been so much better in like New York or Chicago or Philadelphia. I don't like Vegas as a big event. I think Money in the Bank there next year is a good idea. Interesting, isn't it? They're going for a big crowd for Money in the Bank. They obviously see Money in the Bank as their next big thing. And what did you say when we reviewed Money in the Bank? You said to me on this podcast that you feel it's the next biggest pay-per-view after the main 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's coming through as one. To be honest, I feel like it's a bigger deal than SummerSlam at this point. And I think it's a bigger deal than Survivor Series, because Survivor Series is just a novelty now. That's not, you don't really get any real competition at Survivor Series, just some dream matchups, which is great. But I've not seen anything massive on Survivor Series for the best part of 3 or 4 years now. So, but yeah, good show. Anything else before we quickly run down what people thought?
No, I mean, like we said, it was okay, bit boring, but I'd love to see what some of our friends and colleagues think about it.
Ooh, friends. Well, yeah, I put out a tweet. I just thought I'd ask people what they thought. Eddie Kenway, actually, you said the state of the cam work last night was awful. Yeah, it was.
I mean, usually.
Did you notice the hard cam wasn't in the middle? It was like off.
Yeah.
That really fucked me up. Like, for all the things we give Kevin Dunn shit for, like, and oh fucking hell, and all the camera cuts and that, actually not having the normal kind of it, that really tripped me out. I know it may not necessarily be their fault with the layout. By the way, no pyros either. That's apparently a mandate. Las Vegas doesn't allow pyros. That's why you didn't get any pyros or anything like that. So Vince is probably laughing because he saved a nice little wedge on fireworks and stuff, but it is what it is. He said he said the camera work last night was awful. That Becky Lynch section, Oldberg not putting over Lashley, pointless Miz and Morrison and Wood segment. This is my shit list. I was like, yeah. He didn't say what he liked, but he did say that was his shit list. So not much I can really say or add to that. Choke Goat game is such a weird show. The ups and downs happened so fast and many made no sense. Worst camera work in a while for a WWE show, but also best entrance way feel in a while. Again, just all over the place as a show. Makes me happy NXT is ending the weekend. Yes, it is. And I think that is going to... Do you know what? What did you say? You said this is the chance for like the major pay-per-view, the WWE mainstream pay-per-view, to be better than the TakeOver. I think TakeOver got itself a fucking home run sitting right there now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Frankie T as well, another wrestler. Make sure you check out at Frankie_T_UK. Great wrestler based in Essex and the south of the UK as well. Well, he works in Essex, but he's based in the south of the UK. The burial of Bianca was uncalled for, and Charlotte, it was uncalled for. How dare you? And Charlotte didn't need to be champion again. I get it. They had to counter CM Punk's return, but this was not it. Yeah, to be honest, I would have rather they spent more time working on a better show than trying to counteract what AEW does. That is a prime recipe for a fucking catastrophe when you start trying to react to what the opposition's doing. CM Punk coming back is an incredible moment for people who love CM Punk and for wrestling in general, and the pop was amazing. It was earth-shattering. However, that's just one return. We're yet to see what CM Punk will even do. Who's he going to face regularly? I know he's facing Darby Allin all out. I don't personally think that's
wow. Gee whiz. Jumping in the deep end.
I know, right? Like,
boy.
I don't care, but at the same time, that's the funny thing is he's going to have to win because he's CM Punk. And ironically enough, Darby Allin's probably the only real true talent that you've built to be a megastar yourself on AEW, and he's going to have to lose. So he'll get the rub to a certain extent, and it's a big deal to be the first guy to face CM Punk in 7 years, but whatever. And I know your apathy towards CM Punk means that you're not going to say anything nice about him, so that's fair enough.
I won't deny it was a huge moment. It was goosebumps. The fact that they got Cult's personality is great, but
wasn't as huge as the Marvel Studios Eternals trailer, though, was it? Let's be fair.
I haven't watched it yet, actually. Now that you mention it,
it's good. The guy who's playing their version of Cyclops, the guy with a few laser eyes, is an amazing actor, and he's not really had the chance to be a huge actor yet. And I'm really excited. He's Scottish, and he's fucking amazing. He did this incredible BBC TV series called The Bodyguard. It's absolutely amazing, definitely worth a watch. But that's neither here nor there. We leave the Marvel chat for the State of Wrestling address. I do agree with pretty much everyone's sentiments. The only other person who sent something in was the good brother himself, Alex Delanzo. I had to screenshot it because he sent it via WhatsApp. He did send an audio file. If I could have ripped it off of WhatsApp, then I would have used it. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to do so, and we're kind of tight for time. So I have taken the screenshot, however, so that we can see exactly what Alex had to say. And of course, Alex is a former co-host as well. I'll just write it. Main concern is the squashing of Bianca Belair, especially as I don't feel like there's a dominant monster female. So it made no sense to me. How dare you overlook Nia Jax, especially to a wrestler who has been out for around a year. Good to see Lashley win. I think the fans' reaction should show the company that Goldberg is not someone the fans are invested in seeing. Good to see Roman win, and a confrontation with Brock, as long as it doesn't ruin Roman's momentum, I feel he still has a fair bit of gas with his heel run. I agree with that. Good to see Rollins and Edge getting a bit of time. Apart from that, no other comments. Fairly positive from Alex. Thank you very much. It seems to be overriding in the sense of bad camera work, and Charlotte Flair didn't need to win the title, and everyone is not pleased. Well, anyone with a brain is not pleased that Bianca Belair got buried. And I feel like those things are so big and were presented and were such big blights, big blots on the copybook that is WWE, that it was hard to really enjoy anything else. So, yeah. I enjoyed some parts, but do you know what? The fact that I passed out speaks volumes about the pay-per-view, because if it's good enough, I'll stay awake for it, because you can bet your ass I'm staying awake for TakeOver tonight, and we will be reviewing TakeOver as well, and we will have a separate audio podcast for TakeOver, because it's fucking TakeOver. Carl Wilkinson might be on it, he might not, no idea, depends whether he's here, if fucking hurts too much or not. Oh, poor baby. But
it's been awful, man.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've been very lucky, actually. I haven't had many an ear infection. So, but you know what cures an ear infection? A good ear fucking, mate. Do you imagine if that was it? Like, piss in his ear, that'll do it.
just stick a fucking needle.
The fact that at no point you have done the Vince McMahon meme gif thing where he goes, is really disappointing to me. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us for the SummerSlam review, mate. Hopefully I'll be able to wangle you in for some more work this afternoon. But yeah, not too shabby, ladies and gentlemen. We'll leave it there. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for persevering and watching it this long. And if you're listening via audio, thank you very much for continuing to do so. I have thought about completely getting rid of the audio format, but people have said to me that they still like listening to it in the gym and stuff. So if you are listening via audio, thank you very much. Don't forget, we're so close, 390 subscribers on YouTube. It'd be great to get that 400 mark. The dream is 1,000, but the initial dream right now is definitely 400. I'd love to get to that. We have a lot of content here. It's not just us rabbiting on about WWE. I cover a lot of the midweek shows, 3-minute reviews. So just 3 minutes to cover Raw, Dynamite, NXT, all that kind of good stuff. Even Rampage, I'll start taking a look at if we can find the time. Obviously difficult to cover it when you've got everything going on this week. Just so much content. This is the heaviest wrestling week I think I've seen for some time. And also we've got pay-per-view reviews, we've got watch alongs, we've got opinions, we've got news, loads of stuff going on. It'd be great to get to 400. From myself, Aaron X, and from Carl Wilkinson, thank you very much for watching the SummerSlam review, and we will see you in less than 24 hours for a full review of me having an erection over Volta versus Dragunov, because it's gonna happen and you're gonna have to just deal with it, because I'm getting naked for that shit. By the way, we didn't get to 100 views on the Emergence predictions video, which means I will not be doing the 3-minute review of Impact naked next week, as I promised I would if we got to 100. That's on you, people. You're missing out. Oh, yeah.
Oh, they messed up, dude.
They missed out. You missed out. You missed out on this 4 out of 10, buddy. And with that, I shall see you very soon for more content from the Wrestle Plug. I'm stuck, mate. My back's like too. Oh, there we go. Oh,
I just don't want to acknowledge John Cena.
Fucker, mate.